Years ago, I joined my dad in a family business. I was involved in the business for the total of 11 years. And I often look back at that time thinking it was such a special time. I had the opportunity to be in business with my dad. I learned so many things from my dad. But being involved in a family business isn't always a garden of roses, shall we say. There's very specific challenges in terms of being part of a family business. To name a couple of those, first of all, definitely the original owner, the founder of the business, having started the business, and the question is, when do I let go and when do I open up for the next generation to take over? And that in itself is a very emotional journey, right? Second of all, sometimes the confusion between the roles and the responsibilities, who does what. So second, third generation start moving in, and now family and non-family, and that whole gray, sometimes gray area between taking over responsibility, making space for family and non-family moving to the side. Again, emotionally explosive situation. What about resistance to change? The fact that we've always done it like this has always worked. Why would we want to change? Because for the last 30 years, this has been my recipe for success. We've seen some amazing results. I don't see why we need to change. Why do we need to embrace new technology, new strategy? Not always maybe first generation founder of business willing to embrace change and even just ask questions of ourselves in terms of where are we going, what are some of the new things we need to consider. And I think another pitfall or challenge for family business is sometimes falling into the trap of emotional decision making, where it's all about family, loyalty to family, consideration for family. How would sis feel about that? Or ons wil nou nie vir boetie seermaak nie. So emotional decision making, taking the foresight or front seat against sound business decisions and decisions based on solid business strategy. With all of the above in mind, I'd like to share maybe just 3 tips as a starting place to address some challenges in family-owned businesses. Well, the first tip is obviously to really put some good thought and thinking behind the whole succession journey. So who would be taking over, by when, what is the necessary preparation and development that needs to happen in order to prepare second and third generation to take over the family business. Are we investing in their development to make sure that we can trust that they are able and they've got the skill and they will be able to take over? So very, very important to put a lot of thought towards planning the succession. And of course, with all those conversations going on, the second tip is the importance of having really good, strong, open communication channels in a family-owned business, where both family and non-family have got a mandate to openly share, to question, to put issues on the table. So it's nurturing a culture where the principles of meritocracy is implemented, like all ideas, suggestions do have merit, whether it comes from family members or non-financial family members. So we nurture an open culture where we can freely talk and express and discuss, and most important, nurturing an emotional, mature environment where it's okay to challenge. It's okay for non-family members to challenge family members. It's okay for second and third generation to challenge the original first generation founder. So open communication and maturity in communication becomes critically important. And do we also have conflict procedures in place? How do we handle conflict? You know, when we don't agree with one another, what is our go-to strategy in handling conflict, or in cases where we don't agree? The third important tip in terms of family businesses is to establish ground rules for how we do things, and to put, make it a priority to always act in a professional way. So that means we need to have sound principles and processes in place that's professional. So what is our game plan? What is our strategy? To have sound financial management in place, to make sure that we treat everyone fair and in a similar standardized way when it comes to performance management. So I think it's always keeping in mind that we need to be professional at all times. Focusing on these principles and getting the basics right in family-owned businesses can go a long way to strengthen the business and make sure that the business is growing, and then we are investing in building a legacy business for generations to come. I'm especially excited, and I really feel for family-owned businesses because I myself has been involved in a family business. So I'm very excited to work with other family-owned business owners of family businesses out there. So if what I've shared is of interest to you, why don't you click on the link below? Let's have that open conversation. Let's have an open discussion in terms of where you find yourself now in terms of your family-owned business. And let's see if there's a way where I can assist you in transitioning from founder to delegating and handing over the reins to generations to come.